Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Crime Centric. This being a show where I talk about crime dramas that I watch. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Ray Donovan. Another great episode, continuing that beautiful thing that, like I said, it seems like it's going to be the entire season of back and forth between the present day and as well as, like, you know, kind of what happened between season 4 and the present day. Obviously, it's their anniversary, so Ray and Abby spend most of the episode together. It's such a beautiful moment because it's like, it's showing you like who they are now, like kind of the fun they're having and stuff like that, answering questions. And then you also find out like Ray's buying her the bar and everything. She's like, well, wait, what? It's like, okay, you want 4 things here. You give good blowjobs, you give good hand jobs. You're my best friend and you own a bar. It was like, that was such a beautiful thing because it's like, obviously Abby and Ray have always had their ups and downs, and it's kind of something where season 4 kind of left it off of. Like, obviously in season 4 Ray got better, stuff kind of went down and kind of changed all that, but even him and Abby, they were good, you know, and it seems like season 4 kind of ended off with them being that, and it seems like we're kind of kept keeping that trend of like them going out having fun, asking questions like, oh, like what would be the one thing you take out of the house, and seeing those dads and his 3 kids, and it just kind of made him think of like, oh yeah, what I take is like that wooden box, like the wood one. It's like, it's the first thing you ever bought me. She's like, the pop box? He's like, yeah, but it also has like the kids' baby teeth in it. I was like, oh, and she's like, that's a good answer. So it's such a beautiful thing, kind of getting to see that, just showing you like, I mean, obviously it makes you happy, but at the same time it makes you sad because you know it keeps cutting back to the present to remind you Abby's gone. And at the same time, it's also like, you know, a lot of shit went down in between then and there, and it's just like, it almost like, and I think that's kind of the purpose of the story, to kind of make you feel sad but also take you down, because it's like, oh, beautiful, oh, right. Present day reality the present day kind of sinks back in. So it's like one of those things, and I think they did a very good job of doing that, you know. Like I said, I'm so interested to see the rest of this as this season plays out, because that's, like I said, Ray Donovan has never done that with this, you know, like they've never done a storyline like this, and I think that's what's going to make this season extra special in a sense of what it's doing. Also, like, the fact of the matter is it's killing off one of its like main characters like this. And obviously, you know, for storytelling purposes, it's also going to be see like the backlash of it, because I brought it up last week's episode. She is like the backbone of this family, and it's like, how's the family, everyone, going to handle all these situations going forward. What I do find interesting too is certain storylines. I'm curious to see, like, we had the whole Natalie storyline in this episode, but she pops up present day. What I'm curious to see, like, it seems like her and Ray have like some history, and like when they meet up in the episode present day, so it's like, so they probably have cross paths, like he's worked with her and stuff like that. Or I'm curious because I was actually caught off guard by the whole Sam situation, because I thought like him and Sam would have been working together, but it's like, no, his first time, like, I think he had dealt with Sam a little bit, but I think it's not until present day last episode that he actually met her in person. So that working relationship is going to go on throughout the rest of the season, you know, present day wise. But it seems like the whole Natalie situation, it seems like there might be something there, but at the same time, it seems, because this isn't them talking like, oh yeah, I remember you for, like, they probably already had that conversation, so they already have, like, once again, I hope it's not a situation if he slept with her, especially with the way things went down with Abby this episode. I don't know, man. I hope, like, I brought it up last episode, I hope, like, during the time when she was sick, like, when she ultimately died, like, I hope it wasn't a situation that he was, like, off having sex with her or something like that. I hope at the very least it was something, like, non-sexually work-related, because once again, we've all, throughout the entire series, we've had Ray constantly cheating on Abby, so it's just like, especially because the conversation comes up in the episode because of the whole, I'm bouncing all around the place. I do apologize for that. But the whole Abby and like Ray, when Terry proposed and everything, it kind of made Abby kind of get up and walk away. And it's something she's like, what was he thinking? And Ray's like, I don't think he was thinking. She's like, would that be your rationale? So I think when she looks at Terry and Maureen, like, she sees her and Ray, because Ray would always do stuff to try and compensate for the, like, fucked up things he did. Obviously Terry's trying to compensate for the whole hooker thing, which I love Abby's opinion. Like, she's like, what did he do? Did he fuck a hooker to death? And Ray's like, couldn't help but laugh at it. I couldn't help but laugh. I was like, why did your mind immediately go there? But I love how they, once again, kind of balancing that out of like how they handle that situation. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go in there. Abby's like, wait, you're gonna go in there? He's like, yeah, talk to a hooker in a brothel on our anniversary. He's like, Yeah, and they kind of work together. She's like, "Oh yeah, we're here for my husband's trying to surprise me with a menage a trois." It's like, "Oh yeah, we're going with the dominatrix package. How does that sound, Rex?" And it's just like so good. And then working together, like Ray's doing his strong arm tactics, but then Abby steps up. She's like, "Oh yeah, we'll ruin that hair, make it so pull out all that hair of yours." It's like, dude. Seeing them double team like work together like that was so good, and even she was kind of like having fun with it, and I think that really Ray kind of had fun with it too because that's never really happened before. Like it wasn't until last season that Abby really got mixed up in like what Ray does and his work and everything, like what he does on a daily basis. It wasn't until last season that she really got to find out what he does. So I don't know. I thought that was a beautiful moment, but at the same time, throughout the episode, I knew it was going to come down to like the fact is that I would assume it's a brain tumor. Like that's immediately where my brain would like I go as to what's up with Abby's situation because throughout the episode there were the key points. Like she looked off and saw those raccoons, and it was like, it's interesting that it's like you're imagining them, aren't you? The way she was just staring at them because it's like she talked about like she hopes it's rats and not raccoons in the walls because that's what the whole like hiring that guy to check the walls and stuff. And then there's the whole situation of like Ray stopped the music in that room they were in, but she kept hearing it. She's asking, she like all the key signs were right there from the very beginning, and I was like, I immediately go like to a brain tumor. So because auditory and visual like hallucinations is so. And once again, this is kind of I don't remember if I brought this up last week's in the premiere last week, but I am curious. Like I at the very least I hope Abby passing away was because of the sickness. I hope it wasn't any because of the whatever goes down it gets the Donovans mixed up in, or the fact of the matter is that another possibility is she might have taken her own life. I hope it wasn't that case either, considering how hard that would hit all of them too, because let's not forget Ray, Terry, and Bunchy's sister Bridget took her life too, so hopefully it's nothing like that. So but it does seem like we ended up finding out that that's what that whole like thing that Todd, Maureen's brother, kind of brought up last week about the whole like, Vegas thing. So I kept being like, what was that something that happened in the show? And it's like, no, it was something they were going to get to. So it's this whole hooker thing, which Terry did tell her. It took a while, but she did forgive him. Like Terry swore he didn't have sex with her, but like Abby kept being like, she was hot, wasn't she? He's like, I don't know, I guess she was hot. That's how I know Terry had sex with her. So Terry was like, nothing happened, so that's why he didn't want to say anything. But remember Abby's whole thing about like, don't lie, so I'm sure that's where that stemmed from too. So it's because like he had gotten drunk and the lady had stolen their mom's ring. So it wasn't just for Terry's sake, it was also because it was their mom's ring, So I also love the situation that Bunchy's kind of telling his story to Daryl, and Daryl's just laughing at him because Bunchy's trying to figure out what he's going to do, because it's like he's like, I can't work with Lena. We kind of saw that last episode, but at the same time too, because he's like, I don't want to be a secretary. So Ray just kind of puts him in charge of the bar. Because that was originally Abby's plan in the first place, to give like, I think Bunchy and Connor a place like to work or whatever. Just kind of like, it's supposed to be like a family place, So it does seem like that would probably be something we'll be seeing in the future. Abby working on a place like she does 100% own it. So it is something, because that was something I brought up last episode. I was curious whether that was something they did afterwards or while she was still alive. And it's like, that's why she was still alive. So I will probably be seeing them kind of fit everything together over the course of the rest of the season. So then there's also Natalie's situation with her husband. She's divorcing him and firing him. So I guess he's like her agent or manager, whatever the case may be. They're connected to the point that she's being like, I'm going to fire you too. She wants her doll back. Well, she got her doll back, but at the end of the episode, she ended up shooting her husband and asking Ray to help her with it. So it's like that job of his. So now, he is a kind of the cleaner. He's a fixer. So fixer's a better term. I didn't mean to use cleaner. Technically he works as a cleaner, but more so it's, a fixer. So, which is kind of interesting, kind of going back to what I brought up before, their relationship. I thought it would be a situation if he helped her out before. Maybe he did, hence why she knows about him and everything. And it also, it would have seemed like this would have been something that took place while Abby was still alive, but it's like, no, like the story element to her story is going to be now. There's probably going to be some story in the beginning, like learning how they got to where they are, why she wants to fire, because apparently he's also the one that leaked her nudes and everything. So There's just so much on that front, and it's just a situation of like it makes you wonder in that time period like how much because so far Ray hasn't really done any Ray like stuff. Like like this is along the same lines of stuff that Ray kind of has done in the past, especially last season. Let's not forget he kind of basically did the same thing for Hector and everything. So the question is like. Did in that time frame did he do any more similar jobs where he kind of fixes things or kind of gets a little physical? It seemed like he was trying to pull back because he could have easily done that when he confronted her husband before because he's like, oh, I'm gonna snap this dog neck. It seemed like he could have done that, but I think he was trying to turn over a new leaf. So I think it's a situation of like what he owed to Abby is like as a means to respect who Abby like the because he's like he made a promise to Abby like I'm not that person anymore, trying to it's like this is who I am now. Like I think he's trying to keep up with that, trying to be a good man, not because I think he feels like if he goes a different route, maybe he's gonna stain like Abby's memory or something like that, so I am curious to see like how he handles this whole situation. It seemed like he's going to help her out. But once again, I hope they didn't have sex because that would just suck. It seemed with the way things are, like he is a very flawed character, and I think that's what the show continues. That the fact of the matter is, no matter how much Ray wants to change, there's always like issues and everything that comes up. But it's like because of the whole Abby situation, I hope he doesn't cross that line again. I mean, there's still so much we don't know about, like. Even him and Connor on the outs, him and Bridget are definitely on the outs. And it's like, oh yeah, I ran into that boy. We still don't know that story. So that's hopefully something to come. This episode did dive into the whole, like, how Terry got to where he was, like basically the surgery that would help with his Parkinson. But we also had a big blowout at the wedding. Also, let's not forget Ray giving her that necklace that Abby wanted her to have that Terry gave back last episode. But also, like, Todd, Marine's brother, being like bringing up everything, talking about the fact that Mickey was in jail, Ray's a scumbag, even calling Bunchy stuff and just getting stuff riled up, and then talking about Terry. The fact of the matter is he went to prison for armed robbery, and the fact that he killed someone in prison, that was self-defense anyway, so. But nevertheless, like, it's to kind of be expected. It's literally a family of cops and a family of criminals. And that was always kind of an interesting thing. Like, I always thought they were criminals going into this series, like, from the very beginning. But it's like, no, Nikki, yes. But at the same time, they're a very thuggish-like family, I guess you could argue. So that's definitely not going to mix well with a police family. It seems like the rest of the family's okay with it, but it's like Todd has the biggest issue when he started stuff and Bunchy like laid him out for it. I mean, didn't lay him out, but was about to until everyone held him back. So that's definitely going to be something going forward. I'm curious to see, was there anything prior to this that really set that off? Or what? Cause I think this is because we never really met her family last season. I think we kind of skipped over a lot of the dating process between her and Terry, so. Also, we saw Damon's big fight kind of in the past, and he kicked ass like big time. And even Abby was like, "Yo, she liked the match." It was like insane. I was like, "Wow, he's really good." So, because that's also like Terry's side of the story of like him trying to like do this whole managing thing, So, because so far we haven't been in the past for very long. We've been living in the present too. And it was actually kind of interesting when you actually look at the beginning of it too, like when you were in the past, like him and Mickey relationship, he's smiling at Mickey, having that casual conversation. It's like, which is weird because he's never really like that with Mickey. There's always an issue, which obviously you see a little bit of a combination of the two, like him kind of being pissed at Mickey, but at the same time being pretty chill with him. I guess it's just explain him after everything that went down. And because we still don't, because the question is like, why did Ray kind of attack everyone? And that to the point Bridget had to call people. I guess it was something, maybe it was post Abby dying. Once again, kind of brings the question of like, was it someone else? Maybe it wasn't Abby who actually died. Maybe it's like whatever they got caught up in ended up coming back to haunt and kill Abby. And he just got pissed at everyone else because you didn't protect her. So then there's this whole like, anger management that he's supposed to be going through C. Thomas Howell kind of set that up last episode. So whether or not that's going to be a continuous thing or not, I mean, I'm sure it is, but you haven't seen that come back yet. I'm sure, like I said, this is literally only the second episode. We've got like 8 more to see how everything unfolds. So like I said, a very good episode. Kind of, I expect the rest of the season is going to be just as good, probably even more fantastic going forward. So I'm very interested to see what goes down, especially in the next episode. Episode. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.